pace car will come in. It is A.J. Hartman versus Hans Horpedal in the championship fight, and they will line up nose to tail in the outside lane. Hans knows he has to beat Hartman in this race to go home with the title. Here we go. Lined up on the start-finish line, it's David Bamforth in control of the field as we wait for the green flag to drop. And green flag, we're racing in GRIDLIFE GT, the last race of the weekend.
Dave's car here probably the best suited. He also has the most seat time here in the wet, if I recall. But Hans with a big dive into turn 1. Does have ABS on that car. MK60 recently retrofitted, and he has the lead.
And Hans has a lot of wet weather racing experience, perhaps more than A.J. Hartman, and takes the lead away. And this is going to change the math quite a bit. You see 271 to 264. I think Hans had, he was still P3 across the start.
We have Bamforth in. He might have missed the wall there. He might have missed the wall. Maybe a kiss.
Tiny touch there. Won't even make a mark on it. He'll get back rolling, but that knocks a couple cars down the order, and Hans Horpedal will have 25 points if he can finish here. He's got to be careful, though. He's going to be the first one experiencing this at speed, and A.J. Hartman second. I don't know if that's going to be enough of a point swing. Actually, they did come in 4 points separate, so this is going to end up flipping that back. They're going to be tied, I think.
It's going to be very, very close. The problem with Hans's car before this race, following race 3, was a throttle body error that has been replaced. Took them a little time to figure that out, but they were seeing errors in the ECU. It turns out that was a throttle body, so that is where he's at right now. Hopefully the mechanical gremlins that have haunted this car off and on for the year will go away, but in just a moment we'll see. Hopefully we got Bamforth back with us. I'm not seeing yellow flags anywhere. It looked like if he touched the wall, it was very, very minor.
Yeah, just the slightest little touch there, and Hans Horpedal has a pretty sizable advantage, but now it'll be Hartman versus Horpedal, not only in the race, but in the championship hunt. This is going to be a very slow roll to the championship here, Adam. This is going to be very, very treacherous, but Hans well out in front. You see AJ in the background there, big rooster tail from all that aero.
The bigger wings, the diffusers, the underbody on some of these cars, they're definitely going to throw water a lot higher than some of the other cars we've seen in track battle. We didn't get a wet GLTC race, but it would not have looked like this.
Yeah, and see Hans down.
Look at the difference in aero. What a crazy tall rooster tail from A.J. Hartman's car.
And a little bit, we'll look at some of the fire laps information. Got to let a couple of data points come in here as we cross the start-finish line. But Hans Horpedal takes the lead. Watch the points shuffle, and Hans is going to end up, I think, with 271 points. A.J. Hartman comes across the line in second, and that was going to put him right up in the mix with 271 points. We are tied for the season title right now with 11 minutes to go.
We'll have to see, but yeah, everything from this weekend does count. It is your best 10 of the season, correct?
Yeah.
And then everything from this weekend does count, including qualifying points.
Yes, and that qualifying point total is what is tying them right now.
Yep.
We are factoring that in here. So again, this is why you have to do the points audit, because when you're tied like this, you got to make sure you go back through and find every possible place that a calculation could have gone wrong. Here's a look at the fire laps information. Again, some of this is from previous sessions here. And again, we see Horpedal at 73 miles an hour on that first lap. Let's try lap 2 and see if they picked it up at all, because I think that first lap might have been the one under yellow. And yeah, I think that's what's happening there. Right, hit lap 2, because I think that first lap was the one under yellow. And there's Chris DeLucia, third in the championship in the number 62. And here's the speeds here at turn 16. Again, I don't think we've actually had cars trip the timing and scoring there for turn 16. We'll check back in with fire laps data in a little bit. But down into the backside of the racetrack, look at Horpedal losing ground here to A.J. Hartman. This is going to be a slugfest.
Coming underneath A.J. He's getting a feel for this. We will see. Hopefully Hans has got mechanical gremlins at bay. And yeah, we might have a battle for the win here.
I think that it's going to be winner take all here, because Horpedal, I believe, it goes to wins as the first tiebreaker, doesn't it? So, or actually,
just bonus points of qualifying races are tiebreaker 1, and the best finishing position at Midwest is tiebreaker 2.
Yes, but
for the season.
For the season. Okay, you're looking at it right now. Thank you. So, so that would probably be Horpedal then. That would be in that tiebreaker position. So it's going to come down to whichever one of these cars beats the other, provided they stay first and second.
Yeah. Yeah, for the season, yeah, we do usually have a tiebreaker option there, and as our first original event and our largest event is Midwest Festival, that usually is one of the tiebreakers, but bonus points of qualifying races total throughout the year is our tiebreaker for season points.
Yeah, into lap 2, or lap 3 now, rather. Let's see, Horpedal. Hartman closed in a pretty good portion that time. We see the points at the top. They are tied for position.
1.299 behind at the stripe last time by.
Gosh, this has got to be nerve-wracking. And Horpedal is going to likely know his situation. He went all the way out to California to rack up some points to give himself the best chance possible to win the title.
The trip was long, but his car was actually rock solid reliable there. He did really, really well, made a lot of laps, and he was also driver mentor for our wheel-to-wheel series out there. Man, look at the car just kind of biting and biting and biting going down into the belly here.
Yeah, and then clawing his way up. You see the diffuser, how much water is coming out of that. You see David Bamforth, he's dragging a little piece of trim.
Get a smooch on the wall there. That was what, at turn 3 roughly? Turn 2?
Turn 2, top of the hill there. And he's 4th. Jeff Zazoulis currently still scored 5th on the racetrack, but it's going to come down to these two because even DeLucia must have had an off too to be 40 seconds back.
They might have done that with each other. I'm not sure. That was roughly in the same time frame.
Yeah, so about 10 car lengths between them as they come up over the crest. Have a look here at the max speeds. Again, none of these cars in the top 4 are in the race. That's data from the last race, but look at how much it changes the top speed here when you don't have the confidence. That's about 15-mile-an-hour delta from last race to this.
118 in this kind of condition is pretty rowdy.
But look at the min speed, though. Still 41 min speed, which tells me that there's still grip in some of the low-speed corners.
What an interesting track.
Yeah, then braking force, I mean, you're not even going to be touching. Again, Horpedal there just popping on the list. Just 1 G. Well, it's almost half a G away from what we saw last race with Ulrich, Wimble, Jensen, and more. And then A.J. Hartman with the cornering force there. I'm actually really impressed with 1.3 Gs of cornering force.
Yeah, previously a 1.5 from him. 1.3 is wild in this web.
Yeah, but again, that's the aero. He's got a little bit more downforce to help combat the conditions here. And throttling up onto the front straight, the rain continues to fall here, and we are past the worst of the weather, but there's still a lot of moisture on the racetrack. We're down under 60 degrees as well, and Horpedal crosses the line. Hartman, kind of same, 1.6 back this time through. Yeah.
About where we had it before. All they need to do is both stay consistent, but this is still anybody's race. We're about halfway through, a little over, and 1 off. This is the championship.
This is crazy that it's come down to just this. Again, the championship here, the best 10 races of a driver's championship, plus all the points at pit race, including qualifying. And after all of that and all the trips across the country and the various racetracks these cars have visited since June, and both of these drivers have amassed 271 points and are sitting tied going into the last 5 minutes of a race at pit race.
Yep, GLGT debuted, for those who didn't know, at our Midwest Festival event, which was early June, and so it was not at CMP, it was not at Road Atlanta with FD. What a great event that was, by the way, but was not there. So this is, that's why it's only 10 rounds, 10 best races, and then this final round.
Chris DeLucia, 57 seconds back from Hans Horpedal, who does have the best lap. He did run that last time around at a 205.7, and we were in the mid to low 150s earlier in the weekend.
Yep. That's for the amount of standing water here, I'm pretty impressed. These are not really high horsepower cars, still in the 300 horsepower range.
And there's DeLucia in a borrowed car. That's probably nerve-wracking. Driving a borrowed car up onto the podium. And this is going to achieve what he was hoping to do. He came here knowing that the championship was out of reach, but borrowing the car from Jeff Zazoulis to just try to knock Houghton off the podium for the season. And right now, that he's in that position. I don't even think the only place he can lose is to Zazoulis, so that would knock him off of the podium for the season. I don't think Jeff would do that to him.
Yep. we are probably going to have a little bit of lap traffic scenario with 5 minutes left, roughly. These cars doing out front, they're going as fast as they can. The rest of the cars don't quite have the urgency, and they've got a bit of a gap.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you're seeing these guys lay it out on the line. There's not really a lot for Bamforth and Zazoulis to gain, but tons for Horpedal and Hartman to be the inaugural champion of this new series. Same exact gap.
Previous 1.65, and we're at 1.65 second gap here. Still, a second and a half goes by really fast on a racetrack, especially if you go off in deep into this grass, into these ruts.
Best lap for both the leaders last time, 202.8 for Hans Horpedal, 202.811 for A.J. Hartman. Equally matched and tied in the championship.
This is like 4 times the amount of water that we saw in the wettest time attack class as well.
Yeah, just so much. And AJ, again, just having the rabbit to chase. Running out of time, I have to say. It's going to maybe take a mistake, or AJ's got to find some more confidence somewhere to dig himself out of this 1.6 second hole. I mean, it's like he's spraying water out the tailpipes.
He's like actually shoveling water up the diffuser. It's pretty wild looking here.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's almost like putting it in a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
At this rate.
I'm positive an aero builder such as AJ is going to rewatch this from every angle just to see anything he can learn. If you haven't followed his YouTube channel, he's got a lot of very cool aero bits and some race recaps.
And again, you see the interesting kind of currents coming off the rear wings. And to your point, again, the much higher rooster tail off of the Mustang, showing you how much more work the rear of that car is doing and contributing to the downforce.
Yeah, it's a thicker spray for sure. It's definitely pulling more off of this racetrack. Still pretty high. Look at the efficient aero on Bamforth's car here too. Very clean OEM based, and but yeah, the aero on like a homebrew Corvette, still pretty impressive.
It's super impressive, and I think Hans, again, using the grip of this car at high speeds too. It's very slippery. The straight line speed probably not bad. Here's that lap traffic you were talking about. Jeff Zazoulis, I don't think it'll be much of a factor, but depending on where they catch him, it could mix things up. They might meet him
right at turn 1 and say hello. We'll have to see how this goes. Jeff, I'm sure, has great awareness, but this is tough conditions to check that rearview mirror.
Yeah, I think
great job by Jeff getting out of the way here.
Yeah, he'll do just that. I think Horpedal gained some on AJ this lap. Just looks visually larger, the differential between them.
1 second here.
1.9, 3/10 gain.
Yeah. Solid, clean lap so far.
I think it's crazy that it's come down all the way to literally it's going to be the last 2 laps that decide this.
2 minutes from knowing who does this.
Yeah.
Provisionally.
And for Hans, it looked like things were slipping away, all sorts of mechanical issues. What was ailing him in the previous race?
That was a throttle body.
Okay, so.
Yep, these cars use an electronic OEM-based throttle body, and usually they tune, in TC and in GT, they'll tune with throttle body angle, which is a very common thing. And if they say these cars make 400 horsepower uncorked, wide open throttle, they'll be wide open throttle until they get to their point, and then start scaling that back in order to not have too much of a peak throttle body.
Sounds like this is going to be the final lap from per race control. So coming back around to a checker, and AJ Hartman's running out of chances for Hans to make a mistake, and this is going to come down to a tiebreaker in the opening season.
Do we know who got more qualifying points?
I think it's Hans, I would have to think.
With his performance at Laguna was pretty strong.
I think that was what's going to do it for him, but I don't know off the top of my head because we don't track the qualifying points for the season points otherwise.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting to note.
We might not know by the time of this broadcast.
I don't think we will.
So I think we're going to call it a tie and deal with it later.
Yeah, I think we might have to. But here comes Hans Horpedal past David Bamforth. The championship has come down to the wire.
Throwing it through the kink here. That's got to be a wild feeling.
And Hans Horpedal, trouble in race 3 with the throttle body. Things looked like they were slipping away after a trip to California to rack up enough points to hopefully come through with a chance to win a championship. It was slipping away, but we don't know yet. The points are tied. It will come down to a tiebreaker that will have to be analyzed post-race. But Hans Horpedal is going to win race number 4 here in GridLife GT. Checker flag for the number 77, and AJ Hartman comes through in second place. And you'll note, 271 to 271. You couldn't plan that.
That is
closer.
So ridiculous. I'm a little bit stunned. The opening year of this series, the idea had been batted around for about a year. Although the day we released the Touring Cup rules 8 years ago, roughly, 4 or 5 time attack drivers emailed and said, can we get a faster class? And now we have started building this faster class. I'm very excited for the future of this series.
Yeah, I think starting it off with a tie in the points is certainly a way to open it up again. We'll have
tie in these conditions at this, this track will go down in history as a legendary facility. It'll be amongst the Bridgehamptons, and it's very, very cool to see a tie for GT.
Yeah, so clawing their way up the hill on the cool-down lap. Let's have a look here at our race results. DeLucia has yet to come on through to pick up the checker, but that's why they're showing as the -1 here. But David Bamforth has already crossed the checker in 4th, so it's going to lock out Chris from losing any spots. Hans Horpedal wins the race, and again, the championship is unknown yet, 271 to 271. AJ Hartman, 2nd place. Chris DeLucia in 3rd and picks up the season podium over James Houghton. David Bamforth in 4th, and Jeff Zazoulis in P5. Finishing out the race. Wet conditions. Not everybody started this one, Adam, but the 2 that needed to have finished.
What a wild end to a wild season. I mean, 2025 has been the 7th season of Touring Cup, the 11th season of GridLife, and I just want to personally say thanks to everybody that makes this possible. This is nothing but a Herculean effort, especially for the live stream, for our track staff. We have grid workers that actually follow us around the country just to stand in grid in the sun and the rain and sometimes the sleet. We've had hail, lightning delays. Racetracks, they've been nothing but hospitable and welcoming to us. It it's been an honor to be part of GRIDLIFE in 2025.
Yeah, really cool stuff. Let's have a look at the highlights here for GRIDLIFE GT Race 4 before we wrap up the broadcast here. And again, a little bit of a delay to start this race. You see even the rooster tails in the background there. That was so cool. Crazy. Let's have a look here at the highlights. And in the wet, off of the grid, David Bamforth took the green. AJ Hartman, and look at the start from Hans Horpedal. They were so matched on pace. I don't know if he didn't pass AJ there, he might not have ever. David Bamforth just tipping the wall right there. Boop. Then it became the Horpedal versus Hartman chase. Horpedal out front in the Corvette. Chris DeLucia, by virtue of climbing up to third, ended up third on the season podium as well. And then these two, 1.6 seconds apart for most of the race. And across the stripe, AJ Hartman using the arrow. Look at dumping all the water off the tailpipes, but it wasn't quite enough to win the race. Hans Horpedal wins the race. I'll have to see how the event lands too. I don't even know what the points are for that.
Yeah.
But it's really close. The points came down to a tie. The tiebreaker will be determined after this. But stay tuned in. Make sure you check out the @GridLife official Instagram. But GRIDLIFE GT Race 4 complete a tie for the championship. And with that.